Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. When you hear the name Helen Keller, what's the first image that comes to mind? For most of us, it's a young girl at a water pump, her face lit with wonder as she finally connects the word water to the cool liquid rushing over her hand. It's a powerful, iconic moment, immortalized in plays and films. But what if I told you that this single image, while inspiring, has overshadowed the incredible, complex, and sometimes controversial woman she became? Today, we're going beyond the water pump to uncover the real Helen Keller, a radical activist, a prolific writer, and a relentless champion for disability rights whose legacy is more relevant today than ever before. Let's start by understanding the world Helen was born into in 1880. At just 19 months old, an illness left her both deaf and blind. In the late 19th century, society had very limited understanding of people with disabilities. They were often institutionalized, isolated, and considered incapable of education or a meaningful life. The prevailing belief was that without sight or hearing, the mind was a locked, unreachable void. This was the bleak reality Helen and her family faced. Then, Anne Sullivan arrived. The story of Anne teaching Helen to communicate is legendary, and rightly so. Anne's innovative and persistent methods broke through Helen's isolation. Using a manual alphabet to spell words into Helen's hand, she unlocked a world of language. This wasn't just about learning nouns. It was about connecting with the world, expressing thoughts, and forming a conscious identity. The breakthrough at the water pump wasn't just about the word water. It was the birth of Helen's intellectual and emotional freedom. It proved that a mind, regardless of physical limitations, was capable of boundless growth. But this is where the popular story often ends, and where our exploration truly begins. Helen's thirst for knowledge was insatiable. She was determined not just to communicate, but to receive the same education as anyone else. This was a radical idea at the time. She attended the Perkins School for the Blind and later, with Anne Sullivan by her side spelling lectures into her palm. She enrolled at Radcliffe College, the sister school to Harvard. Think about the sheer determination this required. She had to navigate a curriculum designed for sighted and hearing students, relying entirely on touch. She graduated with honors in 1904, a monumental achievement that sent a clear message to the world. Disability does not equal inability. Her education wasn't just for personal enrichment. It ignited a fire within her. As she learned more about the world, she became acutely aware of the injustices faced not only by people with disabilities, but by women, people of color, and the working class. Helen Keller was a radical, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word. She was a vocal suffragist, fighting for women's right to vote. She was a socialist, believing that poverty and unfair labor practices were root causes of disability and suffering. She was a founding member of the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, standing up for free speech and civil rights for all. She was also a pacifist who condemned war and its devastating human cost. These views were highly controversial. Many people who admired the miracle story of her childhood were shocked and uncomfortable with her political activism. Newspapers that once praised her courage now criticized her opinions, even suggesting she couldn't have formed them herself because of her disabilities. This was a deeply condescending and ableist attitude that Helen fought against her entire life. She responded with fierce intelligence, writing essays that dismantled their arguments. She insisted on her right to have an opinion, to be a full and active participant in society. She refused to be just an inspirational symbol. She demanded to be heard as a thinker. Her advocacy for the disabled community was, of course, central to her life's work. She traveled to over 40 countries, meeting with world leaders and giving speeches that captivated audiences. She didn't just ask for pity or charity. She demanded dignity, respect, and opportunity. She lobbied for the creation of state commissions for the blind, for rehabilitation programs, and for accessible education. She was instrumental in establishing organizations like the American Foundation for the Blind, which she worked with for over 40 years. Her work helped to shift public perception from seeing disability as a personal tragedy to understanding it as a social issue that required systemic solutions. Helen A. was also a pioneer in assistive technology. She embraced every tool that could connect her to the world. She used a braille writer to write her many books and articles, and a special typewriter. She learned to hear people speak by placing her fingers on their lips and throat, a method called to-do. She championed the development of these tools, understanding that technology was a key to unlocking independence for many disabled people. This forward-thinking approach laid the groundwork for the incredible assistive technologies we see today, from screen readers to voice-activated devices. But to truly honor Helen Keller, we must also acknowledge the complexities of her story. For instance, her early life and education were made possible by a degree of privilege that was not available to most disabled people at the time. Furthermore, while she was a radical voice on many issues, her views on race, particularly early in her life, were reflective of the era's prejudices and were not as consistently progressive as her other stances. Acknowledging these aspects doesn't diminish her accomplishments. It makes her a more real, three-dimensional human being, not just a sanitized icon. It reminds us that even our heroes are products of their time and can have flaws. So, what is Helen Keller's enduring legacy? It's not just the story of a girl at a water pump. It's the legacy of a fighter who refused to be defined by her limitations. It's the legacy of a thinker who demanded a seat at the political table. It's the legacy of an advocate who understood that true equality means changing not just hearts and minds, but laws and systems. She taught us that disability is a part of the human experience, and that a just society is one that is accessible to everyone. Her life is a powerful testament to the idea that the greatest barriers we face are often the ones we build in our own minds and in our society. Today, the fight for disability rights continues, building on the foundation she helped lay. Activists are still working for better accessibility, inclusive education, fair employment, and an end to ableism in all its forms. The next time you see that image of Helen at the water pump, remember that it wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of a revolution. A revolution she led with courage, intellect, and an unwavering belief in the potential of every human being. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the lives of incredible people who changed the world. Let me know in the comments what you find most inspiring about Helen Keller's real story. See you in the next one.